Story time on how my house burnt down while I make slime. I was debating on posting this one because it's traumatic. Get your money's worth and let it drain. I didn't forget. I was like 12. I was in the 7th grade. This happened in 2017. Yeah. It was around Thanksgiving, and me, my mom, my siblings, we decided that we were going to go to one of our auntie's house for Thanksgiving. It's Thanksgiving Eve, and my grandfather, he was supposed to come with us, but he was like, no, because, he'll get more money if he stays home and works on, Thanksgiving. So he drops us off at the bus stop, and the last time I seen him was Thanksgiving Eve. We make it to my auntie's house, Thanksgiving goes by, and then the morning after Thanksgiving is where things start to get crazy. I had woken up really early in the morning, and it was weird to me because we were on break, so I'm gonna sleep in because I have school. So I usually sleep in the morning times, but this specific time I didn't. I wake up, I'm like, okay, this is a little weird, but let me just see what's going on, because I didn't see my mom and my other sisters. They were like sleeping, and I didn't see my cousin either. I go to the living room and I see my baby cousin, and she's in there, and she just doesn't look like herself. She's usually very loud. She's usually very positive, very happy, but she wasn't giving that. So I tried to pull like a little jokey joke to make her feel better, but it just wasn't working, and she had a tear streaming down her face. I'm like, what's going on? So then I'm like hearing somebody's voice outside, but I didn't know whose voice it was. And then I heard like the front door open, and I hear my mom say our neighbor's name. Immediately, my head just goes to my grandfather, right? So I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on? So now I'm serious. My other sisters, they start to wake up because they felt the weird feeling in the morning too. They're asking me what's going on. I don't know what's going on. My mom has always been very dramatic. So I'm just thinking, okay, maybe mom is doing too much because she is dramatic, But my mom comes in and she basically tells me and my sisters what's going on. And what had happened was our house had caught on fire. Yeah. So how the fire started was because the furnace had caught on fire. Like, we had this ground furnace, and it caught on fire, and it spread quickly because my grandfather was kind of a hoarder. We're all the way up in Victorville. I'm from Pasadena, California, and this happened in Monrovia. I don't know if there's any news articles about it, but yeah. So we drive down from Victorville, and we're at the hospital. I forgot what hospital he was at, and we're trying to figure out everything that's going on. We ended up going back to our home. The fire department and the police were just basically trying to figure out how the fire started and what caused it or whatever. And again, we later found out that it was the furnace. My grandfather's last moments conscious was basically they pulled him out of the fire, and he went back in because we had cats, we had turtles, everything. So he was trying to save them. People immediately thought that he was trying to save his stuff, but me personally, I believe he was trying to save our animals, because he had this cat that he named Kai, but he found out Kai was a girl, so we named her Kaina. She had just given birth like 2-3 weeks prior, so I believe he went back in there to save our animals. Our animals were fine. They were at the vet or whatever. They had burnt, like the cats had their whiskers burnt and stuff like that. It was actually pretty traumatic, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. And my middle school was Clifton Middle School, and they gave us the Christmas that we were supposed to have. Like, they gave us gift cards, y'all. If it wasn't for my middle school, we wouldn't have had a Christmas. My grandfather died after a couple days of being in the hospital because it was just too much for him, for real. And the reason why he didn't smell the smoke at first was because he was diabetic. So he took like medicine, and it knocked him out through the night. It knocked him out. So I'm surprised they even got him up, because when he's out, he's out. Or, well, he was. This is actually my first time talking about this story without shedding a tear. Actually, my first time talking about the story out loud in general. After this, we literally had nowhere to go. We ended up staying with my cousins for a while, but after he died, like, our life just went downhill. I'm gonna be so real. But that's like the story on how my house burnt down, y'all. Yeah. Scary story time on how I was stalked and chased by racist white men while I make slime. It wasn't just me, it was me, my sisters, and my dad's girlfriend. Get your money's worth and let it drain. So right down the street from Las Vegas High School, there is this freaking burrito spot. She takes us or whatever, and we notice that there is these white men in these red trucks, like, just playing kind of like weird racist music, but we're minding our business because they're minding theirs, right? And we make it to the burrito spot, whatever, cool, right? And why does my freaking shaving cream activate my slime? So we get our burritos or whatever, and we walk out, and we notice that we don't see this truck anymore.
So we're still walking, and then next thing you know, we see the truck pull in to go to the gas station. Even though they were just parked somewhere else, they're pulling to the gas station. Okay, cool. So we're still walking, we're chatting, we're smacking it up. And why does me and my dad's girlfriend, we peeped that this red truck keeps spinning the block. So my dad's girlfriend told us to speed it up so we can make it home, whatever. Okay, cool. So we start walking faster, and we don't see this red truck anymore, whatever. We make it to the gate of Las Vegas High School, which was my high school. So we're walking, and then we start to hear this loud music, right? So we turn around, and we see the same, red truck with these white men inside. But this time they're screaming at us, and they're basically screaming like, the N-word, and they throw beer cans, and like some thing with liquid in it, but it misses us. And we started to, my dad's girlfriend told us to run, so we started to run, and they started to like say, run, N-word, run. Like, it's not funny, but that's what they started to say, right? So I'm sitting here, I'm running, I'm booking it, right? As soon as they sped up that car, I was like, we ain't making it. Like, they're on the car, we're on split, like, we're not gonna make it. And they're literally just screaming racial slurs at us, and then they just speed off, laughing. And we literally, like, okay, so how... We lived in the gated community that was right next to Las Vegas High School. We literally ran, booked it, and then jumped the fence to our house. And we locked all the doors, and we were just quiet for a good hour. And I'm not even gonna lie, we were all scared, even my dad's girlfriend. That was one of the scariest racial things that I've been through, or racist things that I've been through. But it's not the scariest, I won't lie to you. And by the way, to the people in my last video talking about that's what you get because you listen to Melanie Martinez. Put a pin in that, pause the conversation. First of all, I literally stated in the beginning of the video that freaking Storytime was 3 years old. So yes, I was listening to Melanie Martinez 3 years ago because I didn't know that she was accused of being a freaking rapist. I guess this is just my opinion, but I don't think anybody deserves to get raped or sexually assaulted. So for the people in my comments talking about that's what you get, you got raped. For one, I was never raped. I never once claimed in that video that I was ever sexually assaulted, so I don't know where y'all are getting that one from. Y'all just need to listen to the video next time. I don't listen to Melanie Martinez anymore, okay? Ask that question before you start saying mean, hurtful things. Anyways, this bad boy, this is the best glue. I'm not sponsored yet, but this is the best glue, especially if you're working with laundry detergent. Comes out thick and nice every single time. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Scary story time about my haunted house update. Y'all need to get y'all money's worth and let it drain. I don't want to put too much. I was on live the other day, and people literally heard my bathroom door opening and shutting. Like, they heard it, and I think they seen it too. Yesterday, I was in the kitchen, and why does the freaking sink turn on? Like, just turned on out of nowhere. And then, like 20 minutes after that happened, the freaking bathroom door swung open. Just swung open. People ask me, am I scared? I mean, since I've lived here for so long, I'm not really scared. Like, it's a normal thing that be happening. Like, don't get me wrong, there's sometimes where I get goosebumps. I think I have them now. But yeah, like when I'm home alone, I will literally stay in one spot with the covers over my head. Earlier today, I seen the little boy like at the top of the stairs. I think something's looking at me through that window. We used to have like a dog here, and she would literally just bark at like random corners of the house. Just barking, just like one spot and barking. Or she'll just look at it. I'm gonna address some things also. People keep saying, why haven't you left? Are you gonna buy me a house? Are you gonna send me money to get a new house? That's what I thought. So yes, I live in a haunted house, but I also still live in America. So I take my chances with the ghosts and I take my chances with the people on the street. Like, we also pray, y'all. Like, we pray. I'm a religious person. My family is religious. So we definitely pray. It's not like I'm just living in a haunted house, like, summoning them. And to address another thing, so the people in my comments talking about can you wipe your fingers off? Like, I can't stand it. I am playing with slime, y'all. My fingers are gonna have slime hands. It's not like I'm walking around with slime fingers all day long. I'm not. So far, the ghosts that I know that are in this house, the little boy at the top of the stairs, the kitchen lady, I've never seen her, and I pray I never see her. The other lady that be over there, the little girl that I seen, and then that creepy, scary burnt one. Y'all, I just got goosebumps. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking about this. Story time on how my dad kidnapped me and my sisters while I make slime. Disclaimer, my dad tried to kidnap me, but he didn't get to. Get your money's worth and let it drain. My mom and my dad's relationship was very domestic, but I guess this was during the times where my dad was mad at my mom and wanted to get back at her or whatever. Mom and dad were arguing on the phone per usual. They're arguing or whatever, and my mom hangs up the phone and she tells us to hide, and she books it out like the front door. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all, my little sisters hid in the most stupidest spots ever. The youngest at the time, she was the first one to get snatched. I ain't even gonna lie to you, she's the first one to get snatched. Because she hid under like a chair or something. Like, come on, girl, he can see you. And then the second oldest, why would she hide under some freaking pillow pets? Like, she literally hid in the pillow pets. I had the smartest hiding spot by far. My grandfather had this like cluttered freaking closet, and I like shoved myself in that closet, and I was literally looking at my dad pick up my sisters one by freaking one, talking about, you're coming with me. My heart was beating. I thought he was gonna get me. I was just like, let me be quiet. My dad screamed my name, and I'm literally looking at him like, pick up my sister from the pillow pets, and he's screaming my name, and I'm ignoring him because you're not gonna get me. No. After like maybe what felt like hours, but was really like 30 seconds of my dad calling my name, he just got my sisters and he just like skirted off in his car, and you could hear him. I was in that closet for like 10 minutes, and my mom, she was like, you can come out now. And she was crying because obviously like her babies just got snatched. Like, it got me a Slurpee because obviously like I just seen some traumatic stuff go down, and they were sitting there like talking about how they were gonna get my sisters back, and I was scared because I was thinking that I was never gonna see my sisters again, y'all. My sisters was with my dad for a good month until he like gave them back, but then he kidnapped us again. And that's a different story. Number one, to the nosy people who are gonna be like, oh no, that's your dad. No, he did not have custody. He was not supposed to have my siblings. He wasn't even supposed to be near us. And number freaking two, okay, he kept my siblings for 2 months, or no, I think it was like 1.5, and he used it against my mom. Story time on how I almost killed my mother while I make slime. So I was definitely a kid when this happened to me. Get your money's worth and let it drain. Like, you already know. So my mom, she would always do her nails. And this particular time, I think I was in trouble. Like, I don't really remember too well. But my mom was doing her nails, right? My mom, she was like doing a pedicure or whatever. And she had her feet in like the water, right? I kept asking her if I could use her phone. No. Our tablet, it was on the charger. If you're catching my drift, you know. She kept telling me no. And I just wasn't listening to her. I was like, no, I want my tablet. And so, I don't know if y'all had like them cheap Android tablets back then, but like the charger would never stay in. Like, you would have to hold it to stay in. And I'm begging her, and I kind of tripped over something. I don't know what I tripped on, but I kind of tripped over something. And then next thing you know, my charger thing for my tablet went into the water. My mom obviously felt some type of shock because I thought I killed her. I ain't even gonna lie to you. She like rolled out of the chair, and I was like, I killed my mom. Like, I killed her. I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail, like, 12 years old. I don't remember if my little sister was there, but I remember, like, I tried to, like, wake her up, and her eyes were rolling in the back of her head, and I was like, I'm going to jail, like, hands up on my head, I'm gonna, like, they're gonna kill me. I started praying over her body, you know, I was like, God, please, and then next thing you know, like, 5 seconds later, she was like, now, what did I tell you? When I tell you to stop touching stuff, stop touching stuff. Okay.
Scary story time while I make slime. Get your money's worth and let it drain. Like, y'all, I could not make this up. Like, no. So, y'all, this happened a couple hours ago, and I'm at loss for words. I was home alone like a couple hours ago or whatever, right? And I hear footsteps upstairs. Mind you, no one is upstairs. No one's upstairs. It's just me in the house. Y'all, I hear someone going down the stairs upstairs and then coming down here. I thought my auntie's husband was upstairs. I did not think I was in the house entirely alone. So my auntie called me and she was like, oh, do you want something from the store, like Doritos? She asked me what Doritos did I want. As I'm talking to my auntie, I hear footsteps again upstairs. And I was like, oh, where's everyone at? And he just starts going down the list of where everyone is. And then I say, so no one's in the house with me? She says, no. My heart drops. So I go, like, I run and I go get the Bible because, y'all, I could not make this up. Hold on. This just dropped all the way down here and rolled. I just rolled it up so y'all can see when it's on here, there's no falling because it's like scrunches. So this, y'all, anyways, we're ignoring that. Back to the story time. But yeah, so I call my auntie and, I go get the Bible. And I'm just sitting there and I'm praying and I put my head under the cover, y'all, because This ghost not gonna get me. I don't know what's in here. Y'all, tell me freaking why. The baby, my auntie's baby, he has this little walker thing. And I literally heard like from one of the toys rattling. That was like 3 steps away from my current position. I freaking freaked out. I freaking freaked out. I had my head under the covers, like I wasn't freaking moving. Like that was one of the moments where my heart dropped. Okay, mind you, this has happened to me before, but in different types of settings. I was here home alone one time and I was sleeping and I kind of had like a bad dream, right? So I like shook myself out of the bad dream and then like I closed my eyes again, but I put my head under the covers and I closed my eyes again, and then I heard like the baby's toy rattling again. That situation happened before this current situation. So because of my nails, I can't really click, but I had to hang up on my auntie because she was just making it worse. And I called my grandma and I told my grandma like everything that was going on, and she told me that it's okay, she's gonna like pray over when she gets back. Y'all, I literally did not move until someone came back. I left out something. The door freaking opened, like this door opened when I heard the footsteps just kept opening and closing. So I think it's time for me to go. Scary story time while I reactivate my slime. I cannot make this up. Haunted house edition. So get your money's worth and let it drain. Y'all already know. For the past week, I've been babysitting my auntie's baby while she goes to work, right? And I've been using her room to do. So the first day that I technically watched the baby was on Tuesday. When I was in her room, nothing unusual was happening up until me and the baby went to sleep for our first nap. The baby falls asleep, no problem, and I'm about to go to sleep. When I start to feel this ominous feeling around me to where it just felt like something was watching me, something was over me. I didn't know what it was, and I didn't want to know what it was, in all honesty. I closed my eyes trying to go to sleep, and it's like I'm not really sleeping. It's like I'm half sleeping, and every 2 seconds something is waking me up, and I stare into the corner where her closet is at. At this point, I'm getting a little freaked out, but then on the second try, I go to sleep good. Nothing out of the usual happens after that until our second nap. Second nap comes around and I'm putting the baby to sleep. The baby goes to sleep, no issue, and it's time for me to go to sleep, and I just keep feeling like something is watching me. It was just so freaking creepy. I go to sleep and I didn't wake up until the baby starts thrashing his head backwards and forth, waking up out of his sleep crying. At first I kind of brushed it off until he woke up, and then he starts to stare directly into the corner where the closet is at. And this is when I know, yeah, something in here with us. There's nothing I can do about it though but pray. So the next day comes along, I'm watching the baby again. The first nap comes about. I go to sleep, no issue. But then I start to have dreams about the room that I'm in. And the one dream that I had, it was like this man. He was black and he had barrel twists in his head, and he was laying over the bed. Kind of like on top of my legs a little bit. Like he was slung over the bed. He looked like he was on his phone. I didn't really get a clear view of his face. I just know he was a dark-skinned man. And then I looked down to see the rest of his body, and there was nothing there. It was just kind of like his torso and his head. So now I get freaked out because I just had a dream that somebody was in the room that I'm in, and then he doesn't have the rest of his body. But I don't wake up until the baby wakes up, and I go about it because I didn't even remember the dream until my auntie and my grandma got back. Now we're on the third night, which was yesterday. I started to have this weird, creepy feeling that something was watching me again, and then I had a dream that somebody was standing in the corner staring at me. Couldn't make out this person's face, but they were just staring at me. It literally just gave me freaking goosebumps. I had this weird freaking dream that the baby was trying to tell me that something was in the room with us, because babies can see things because they're still pure. So don't know what that means. Don't know where I'm gonna continue to watch the baby, but I promise you it's not gonna be in his mama's room. They were literally cannibals while I reactivate my slime. The Europeans were smacking on mummies, y'all. They were smacking on them. Get your money's worth and let it dry. Oh my gosh. Between the 16th century and 17th century, the Europeans believed in something called medical cannibalism. They believed eating the unalive could help them with a series of health issues, okay? So how did the Europeans get their hands on Egyptian mummies? Well, grave diggers, okay? Grave diggers would so proudly dig a grave and then sell the parts. They would literally ground up Egyptian mummies and use them for paint. Yeah, I said it, paint. I think the paint color was called brown mummy. You can search it up right now. So they believed if they ate the undead, it would help them avoid a series of illnesses. So if you thought it just stopped at Egyptian mummies, no, no. They were eating the undead, period, okay? They even sold, like, blood at apothecaries. You're thinking maybe it's just the high-ups, like royalty, nobility. No. We all know that the poor was broke, especially back then, right? So they couldn't walk into an apothecary and be like, hey, can I get a cup of blood? Like, they couldn't do that. What they would do is go to watch someone get executed and then pay small amounts for a warm cup of blood. Like, I couldn't make this up. There were many people who were like, you know what? Instead of getting it from the undead, maybe we should take blood from the living. Like, literally, I swear. So the reason why we don't have that many Egyptian mummies in today's day is because they ate them all. I don't even know where I learned this from, but now you know, so. Scary story time while I make slime, the mimic. Get your money's worth and let it drain. You already know. My first time ever hearing about a mimic was from the Roblox game. I'm also going to cut this open to put in my slime because I want to see how it's going to turn out. So it first started about like a year ago. My auntie, she would always be like, oh, did someone call me? Did someone call me? And no one would call her name, out here at least. Then it migrated to my grandma. And she would be like, oh, did you call me? And I'd be like, no, like I never called you. She'd be like, oh, I could have sworn I just seen you walk past. Who did you see? Because it wasn't me. Then it started to happen to me, y'all. I started to hear my auntie and my grandma like call my name and then like walk past, but it wouldn't be them. So with that being said, I'm just brushing it off because I'm thinking I'm a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, you know, no shade. Now, around this time, it's like May 2023, and my grandma, she's working at this one job, and she comes home at around like maybe 3 or 4 o'clock, nothing, no biggie, you know, no big deal. So I hear someone come into the door and then go into the bathroom, and then I hear my grandma's voice calling my name. I'm having a full-fledged conversation with this thing, right? And I'm like, oh, like, how was work? You know, and it's like, oh, it was really great. Come here. And when it said come here, I literally just got goosebumps. Oh my gosh. When it said come here, I got goosebumps. Like, straight down my spine. Trickling down my spine. I'm like, and then my auntie calls me. So I go back into the room and I'm starting to talk to auntie. I'm like, oh yeah, grandma's here or whatever. And she's like, oh no, grandma's not here yet. She says she's like 2 minutes away. I said, no, grandma's here. Like I was just talking to her in the bathroom. She was like, whatever. So my auntie, she follows me into the kitchen and I show her the bathroom and no one's in the bathroom. The light is on and the door is open, but nobody's in the bathroom. Then while I'm dumbfounded, my grandma comes to the door and don't know who I was talking to, but it wasn't my grandma. So that alone sent me back. But that was my first experience with it. Not my last, but my first. So if y'all want to hear more, let me know. Scary story time on my first ghost experience while I make slime. So get your money's worth and let it drain. I was about like 4 or 5 when this happened. I was between the ages of like 4 and 5, okay? They presented themselves as like the Disney princesses. Obviously, I know they weren't the freaking Disney princesses, but that's what they presented themselves as. I feel like this is what started my ghost encounters. Literally, I was playing with my dolls, right? And next thing you know, freaking Ariel started moving on her own, basically telling me to like hurt my other dolls. So I'm obviously saying like, stop, no. And my grandma comes over and she sees it. My grandma ended up like being weirded out by this and she throws the dolls that I had away. So I used to believe that they were my imaginary friends because like you can't really explain a ghost to a child. So like I didn't really understand the concept of ghosts. But they started to become really harmful. This is what I mean, right? Basically, they would tell me to like jump out of the window or go get like a weapon and harm myself with it. My grandma and my mom, they didn't know that they became harmful. They didn't know until this one freaking incident. We were literally in the car, right? And it's nighttime. And out of nowhere, I start to hear like, you know, my imaginary friends. They're basically telling me to roll down the window so I can hear them clearly. What was strange about this altercation is that I couldn't see them. And any other time, like I seen them, I knew what they looked like. But this time when I rolled the window down, I couldn't see anything. I could just hear them. They started to sound more distorted, right? Before they had the voices of the Disney princesses, but now they just sounded off. And they're like, come on, come play with us. Like, you know, your mom won't mind. And I'm like, I can't play with you right now. You know, I'm in the car. And they're like, jump out of the window. And I'm like, I can't jump out of the window. Mind you, I'm like 4 or 5 having this conversation with nobody. Look at my little cousin. They keep telling me to jump out the window, and the more they talk, the more they sound demonic. At this point, my grandma and my mom were like, who are you talking to? And I was like, oh, I'm talking to, the Disney princesses. And my grandma was like, stop talking to them right now, because it literally, the back door unlocked on its own for me to just open the door and jump. Like, it literally unlocked on its own. So my mom, she pulled the car over, and my grandma said a prayer and everything. And ever since that time, I have not heard anything from them, but I have had ghost encounters ever since then. I feel like that's what awoken it, because the next on the list is young Kishi. If you know, you know. But yeah, scary story time while I make slime, the mimic update. Get your money's worth and let it drain. Y'all, I'm not even gonna lie, where are we gonna go? Basically, if you watched part 1, then you should know that I think there's a mimic in my house, or, something creepy's going on. My auntie and my auntie's husband, they were gone, right? So nobody was in their room. So, like, sometimes I would go in their room because I've been babysitting their baby or whatever, but not that often because their room is creepy. So I'm chilling when I hear my auntie call me. And if I didn't know where my auntie was, I would have fell for it. Now, same like before, she calls me from the kitchen. Like I said, my auntie and her husband have been gone for like a day. Not to mention, I know it wasn't her because I had just got off the phone with her. At this point, I'm scared because I know it's not my auntie, so who could it freaking be? I'm not even gonna lie, I just freaking ignored it and put my head underneath the covers because I have no time for that. The entire time that I was trying to sleep, I just had this weird feeling that somebody was watching me, like within feet away from me, just looking at me sleep. So at this point, you see so much, you just kind of get used to it. But I told my grandma, I was like, yeah, like, this is what I'm seeing. And she's like, it could be like passing through, because we believe that where we live is kind of like a portal. So the unalive like walk through here. It's hard to explain. So what creeps me out the most out of this entire situation, there's a belief in a lot of cultures that babies are pure or children are pure, so they see things that our adult eyes can't see. With that being said, right, my baby cousin, he seems so bothered, like he will not sleep through the night while he's here. But when we were away from here, he slept perfectly fine, no issues. So specifically, literally 2 days ago, I was like trying to get him to sleep, right? And he literally wouldn't go to, he would wake up every like 5 seconds crying. Like he would not go to sleep. And then when you start to walk him and start, as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, whenever you would like walk him around in certain areas, he would just like wake up and then look, right? And like the look on his face, how I can explain it, is just like he sees something that we don't. And it's obviously keeping him up. So I had him again until like 3 in the morning till 6, and he literally woke up several times throughout the night staring at this one area. So at this point, it's time to go. Not to mention that here, like, you will randomly hear somebody's name being called, but like you'll go see and no one is there. It makes you feel crazy a little bit, but what do y'all think? Scary story time while I do a long-awaited ghetto slime tour. Like, look at this. Look at this one. Like, we're gonna start off with the bottles, y'all, period. I was gonna make a rainbow slime and I tried to make it clear, but it never worked. Y'all already know, get your money's worth and let it drain. Like, this is so unactivated. So here's the first scary story time. I was like 15, 16 years old, and basically me and my sisters, this was when I was living with my dad. Me and my sisters, we had this big room, but we always slept in the closet, our walk-in closet for some reason. I don't know why. Okay, y'all, so it was definitely past our bedtime. We were not supposed to be freaking up, right? But we were on this little Android phone sneaking it. And since we were in the closet, we could hear when someone was like walking up to our room. Okay, y'all, so literally we all hear the walking. So we like get in our spots acting like we're asleep, and then we hear somebody opening up the room door and then walking towards like the closet door. And then we hear this loud freaking growl at like 2 in the freaking morning, and it scared the crap out of us. Mind y'all, so the weird thing about this entire situation was we knew it wasn't our dad because he would have opened the closet door and like checked if we were asleep or whatever. The creepiest part of this whole entire situation was I didn't see anybody's feet, y'all. Like, let me explain. I was laying near the closet door, and the closet door was above the ground like this, so you could see like out of it, right? I'm looking underneath the door, basically being the lookout, and I don't see footsteps, but I hear them. So I assumed it's my dad because, you know, it's dark, but you could see, kind of, if that makes sense. And then, like, when it got super close to the door, I know for sure it wasn't my dad, because that means that that man would have had to crouch down, lay down completely on the floor, looking me in my eyeball, and then growl. So there was no way that that was him, because he wouldn't have did all that at 3 in the morning, y'all. So me and my sisters literally got so freaking scared because I told them, I was like, I don't think that was dad. And they were like, what? I said, there's nobody there. Mind y'all, we didn't hear anybody exit out of the room, and we didn't hear the footsteps going back to my dad's room. We literally slept so close together that night, and like freaking scared. I think I'm gonna tell like 2 more stories and then do a part 2 because yeah, I'd be talking for a long time. I don't know why they're so unactivated. Anyways, getting into the second story time. So for those of you who do not know, my mom's house was definitely freaking haunted. It had 2 ghosts, and the first one really left us alone, and the second one literally just terrorized us. Now, we believe that the middle room was haunted by the second ghost, right? So that room used to not be mine. It used to be my little sister's. And at this point in time, I had just moved into the room. I was nice and happy, right? And I remember I was going to sleep. Now, at this point in time, it was also known that that room was a little creepy, but I didn't care. I had my own room. So I laid my black butt down and went to sleep. And I had a dream that this ghost basically hopped inside of my body and then trapped me inside of the mirror. And so from my perspective, I was already in the mirror, but I was watching like myself before I got in the mirror, if that makes sense. And the ghost was a man, and he was like bothering my body to make me like twist and turn in my sleep. And then literally like I opened my eyes, and then he jumped inside of my body, and then you see like my ghost or whatever get sucked into the mirror. I'm getting goosebumps, bro. But like when I tell y'all, I woke up as soon as my body got sucked into the mirror, and I was sweating so freaking bad. My heart was dang near pounding out of my chest. And the reason why I think it wasn't a dream was because when I had went to sleep, I had closed the closet door because the closet was freaking creepy, and everybody felt this weird freaking energy coming from the closet. And when I woke up, the closet door was wide freaking open. And how I know it wasn't like any of my family was because most of them were gone, and then the sisters that were there, they were in their room the entire time minding their business. Because I even asked, I was like, did y'all open the closet door? They were like, no, why would I go in your room and open the closet door? So then I told my mama, and she was like, yeah, that room is haunted, honey. And then basically it was said not to sleep in that room because everybody had a bad dream. I don't know if it was similar, but everyone had a bad dream when they slept in that room. Okay, y'all, I'm gonna do one more story, and then, oh my god, I'm gonna post a part 2. What the... Y'all, it's literally like mainly freaking dried, and I'm gonna get to this slime because I know there's still some in here. Last but not least, the final story time for this video. Okay, y'all, so wait, why am I doing it wrong? Okay, y'all, so basically the other day, like maybe 2 days ago, it was like 3 in the morning, right? And I went into the freaking kitchen to get some food because, you know, big bag. Anyways, I went to the kitchen to get some food. I was hungry. And why do I literally see a woman basically super freaking tall hovering over like the table that I'm working on like right now? I don't know if this is gonna activate. Okay, so let me explain, right? I was walking into the kitchen and it was pitch black. So what I did was I turned my flashlight on and I kind of held my phone up, and for like a split second, y'all, I literally seen a woman like looking at me like this, standing over like the table. She was tall as crap, but she was also in like this sleeping nightgown. My hands are dyed green. Anyways, y'all, when I seen that, like I literally backed up. My heart started beating, and I literally went back into the room, and I was so freaking scared. But I was hungry, so I went back into the kitchen and I didn't see her again and got some food. So yeah, this one is literally like a gooey slime. But yeah, y'all, it's safe to say that I pretty much dealt with like ghosts or spirits my entire life. Like, yeah, that's why I believe in them, because I've always seen them. Like for part 2, period. Go to part 2. Scary story time, haunted date edition while I make slime. Get your money's worth and let it drain. This story time was sent in by a supporter who claims this happened to her. Now, Nola is a 22-year-old young woman who recently had gotten out of a long-term relationship. Safe to say that the breakup was hitting her hard. After the breakup, Nola started to ignore everyone. She wasn't answering texts, calls, emails. She was MIA for it. Nola's friend group realized that this just wasn't a safe way of coping. And Nola's friends were planning a girls' night out, and they basically forced her to come along with them because they were just like, this is not healthy. Like, you need to get out. Now, the club that Nola and her friends would always go to was always bumping and popping. It didn't matter what time of day, what time of night, what day it was in the week. It was always jumping, okay? But when Nola and her friend group made it to this club, it was suspiciously quiet. Like, there was a few people here and there, but they thought it was closed. That's how quiet it was. It had a weird energy coming off of it, but she just brushed it off because she's trying to have fun. She's trying to forget about her bum of an ex. They dancing, they having fun, they crunking on the dance floor, and then Nola notices a freaky couple in the corner, and this just reminds her of her ex. Her eyes start to tear up. She's about to cry, so she just runs to the bar and she just starts bawling her eyeballs out. At this point, she's bawling her eyeballs out for at least 5 minutes when she notices a man next to her. She immediately apologizes to this man, and he's like, no, you're good, like, it's okay. Are you okay, though? And she's like, yeah, well, no. And she explains that out of nowhere, she starts telling this man her deepest, darkest secrets that she's never told anyone. She starts going on a 10-minute rant. Like, she's going on and on about her life, everything that has happened in the past 10 years. Like, she's spilling the tea. She claims that it was like this man had this drawing aura around him. It was like it was drawing you in, about to suck you alive. At this point, she's embarrassed because she just told this man everything about her, okay? And the conversation goes on. He starts talking to her, and it's a vibe. She's thinking that she's been talking to this man for at least 2 hours. 15 minutes have passed. He gets up to leave the bar, but he leaves his phone number so they can chat if she ever feels like she needs to talk again. She doesn't think anything of it. She puts the number up, and she goes back on the dance floor to have fun with her friends. At this point, weeks go by. She forgets all about her encounter with this man. She's minding her business one day when she's at a cafe picking up some coffee, and she sees the same man that was at the bar sitting at the coffee shop reading a book, drinking coffee. She walks up to him and says hi, and he's like, oh my gosh, so nice to see you again. They give each other hugs, and just like before, she just finds herself talking to this man like he's her therapist. Shortly after this, they go on like 3 more coffee dates, and then eventually they start dating. Once they made it official was when weird stuff started happening in her life. Every single night without failure, she would wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning on the dot. Her wall clock in her house even broke and stopped at 3:33 in the morning. Quickly after that, she started having bad dreams, like really bad dreams, terrifying dreams, and it would wake her up at the same hour, 3 in the morning. But she brushes this all off. Would I? No. For 2 weeks straight, this girl is waking up by nightmares at 3 o'clock in the morning. And she's like, you know what? Let me bring this up to him in a joking way. Maybe he'll have some like advice on what I should do. She brings it up to him in a joking way, and she says that his entire face turns pale. He starts avoiding the question. He starts to get jittery, and then he tells her he has to leave. She goes home confused on why he just did this, and she finds a deceased animal on her porch. At this point, she's had enough. So she goes to her best friend's house, and she sleeps at her best friend's house for the night. She couldn't take it anymore. That was the last straw. She goes home the next day, and for 3 weeks straight, she keeps finding deceased animals in her doorstep, in her house. She, like, everywhere. Wherever she is, she finds them. She also mentioned that she starts to get really, really bad acne when she started dating this man, and she starts to get dark spots underneath her eyes, even though dating him wasn't draining. After weeks of torture, she asks him, like, does he know anything? Like, why is this happening to her? And he basically tells her that he messes with voodoo. Yeah, I said it. He was palm-colored, and he basically said he found somebody off of TikTok. So he was doing spells off of TikTok. Whoever he was around, whoever he was involved with, would suck and drain the life out of them. Whatever deal he did, whatever messed up thing he did, started messing with her life. She breaks up with him on the spot, and after that, her life goes back to normal. She moves, her acne clears up, she's not waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning anymore. She ended up dating this man for 7 months straight. So through 7 months, she was just going through it. Scary story time while I make slime. Human sacrifice. Get your money's worth and let this little tiny bit drain. This story is not my story. It was sent in by a girl named Mackenzie. I don't know if this story time is true or not, y'all, but it had me on my tippy toes. Mackenzie is 25 years old, and she was ready to settle down and start a family, and she felt like American men weren't going to do that for her. So homegirl switched up her type, and she only started dating foreign men. So she got on all these dating websites to find foreign men, and she finally found one, and we're going to call him Kay. Kay was a Haitian man. His profile said he stood 6 foot tall and he had money. So Mackenzie and Kay, they automatically hit it off. Like, hit it right off the bat. They start talking, texting 24/7. They start sending money to each other. And it's only been 3 months, might I add. Now, keep in mind, y'all, Kay lives in Haiti. So this is real long distance. It's been 3 months, y'all, and Kay, he wants some Mackenzie. He texted Mackenzie, and he's like, look, I want to see you. You should come to Haiti. I'll pay for your plane. I'll pay for your hotel. I'll pay for everything. Now, Mackenzie, she's a little skeptical, and she's like, look, I want to see you, but I'm not going to Haiti. How about you come to America, and I'll pay for your plane ticket plus your hotel. He ends up agreeing to this. Kay ends up coming to America. They have a grand time. They do grown folks business. And then Kay goes back to Haiti, and, you know, they get to know each other more. It's been It's been a year and 3 months, and Mackenzie and freaking Kay, they're unbreakable. Couple goals, or so we think. Now, y'all, Kay proposes to Mackenzie. She's happy, she's ecstatic, but Kay keeps stressing her. He's like, look, you know, we're getting married soon and I want you to have a traditional Haitian wedding. She's still a little weary about traveling all the way to freaking Haiti, but reluctantly she ends up agreeing. 2 weeks before her wedding day, she's supposed to be flying to Haiti. Now, she had a deal with Kay. He was going to get her a hotel room because she did not want to sleep in his parents' house. She don't know them. Now, he promises her that she's not going to sleep in his parents' house and he'll get her a hotel room. 2 weeks before her wedding day, she travels her butt out to Haiti. While she's on the plane, she's realizing how little she knows about her soon-to-be in-laws and her family, her soon-to-be family. All she knows is that he has 3 sisters and his mom and dad are still together and they love each other. That's basically it. My phone very much died, but back into the story. Now, she quickly realizes that she is not going to be getting a hotel of her own. They're going straight to his parents' house. They drive 5 hours away from the city. Now, when she arrived at his parents' house, she felt like she was being watched. But she brushes it off as, you know, maybe I'm just homesick. She meets the family, but she feels like something was a little off. She just couldn't put her finger on it. They never really spoke English around her unless they were directly talking to her. Kay also promised her that he would take her back to the city on the 3rd day. Now, y'all, it's the 2nd night. She starts to hear whispers. Not only does she feel like she's being watched, but now she's hearing whispers. She wakes up the next day, which is the 3rd day, the day that she's supposed to be going back to the city, and she feels terrible. She said it felt like her head was going to explode. She was throwing up. She was doing everything. Now, the only thing she ate the night before was the mother's cooking, but she's not putting 2 and 2 together yet. She's only getting worse as the days are going on, but she's eating everything that the mother is preparing for her. On the 7th day of her being in that house, she finally musters up the courage to get up and do some exploring. When she finds weird statues and figures all around the house, and she automatically knows that is what's watching me. Those are the whispers she's hearing at night. So remember when I said they never really spoke English around her unless they were directly talking to her? They were not aware that she was up because of how sick she had been, and she was kind of outside by the kitchen window. They're talking in English. She overhears a conversation with her mother-in-law and her significant other. The mother-in-law says to Kay she should have been unconscious by now. Why hasn't the sickness gotten to her? Have you secretly gave her medicine? And Kay's like, no, like I want this feast to happen too. When she hears this, she thinks they're talking about eating her. She stops eating the food that the mom gives her. She acts like she's eating it, but she doesn't. She gets well soon, but she still acts like she's sick. Now, she believed that they were talking about eating her, but they were not. They were talking about the feast that comes after the ritual, which was her. She finds that out later though. But time jump. She has came up with her plan. The plan is to steal the car keys and drive back to the city. That's exactly what she does. She finds the keys one night. She drives back to the city, still sick though, books herself a flight and gets home. She's on the next flight home. Kay is furious. He's blowing up her phone. And at this point, she's about to block this man, but she asked him, what do you mean by you're ready for this feast too? Y'all, what were y'all planning to do? Eat me? And he was like, no, we were planning to sacrifice you to what we believed in, then have a feast after that. After hearing this, she hangs up on him, blocks him on everything, moved, and safe to say she's not going back to Haiti for a long time.